would call the roll.
David Dixon.
Here.
Kevin Richard.
Here.
Bobby Jarrett.
Here.
Max Arnold.
Here.
XR Royster.
Here.
Dickie Johnson.
Here.
Gary Gibson.
Here.
Doug Bell. Stacy Denton.
Here.
Kevin Herron. Gray Hodge. Frank Boyette.
Here.
We have a quorum?
We do.
Very good. Got some public hearing items on the agenda tonight, so I'll entertain a motion to go into public hearing.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are now in public hearing. First item of business, of course, is the approval of the minutes from the March 1, 2022 meeting. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Good. The next item is a text amendment, a proposed text amendment to the city zoning ordinance. Mr. Bishop, would you like to introduce our presenter?
Yeah, I would love to do that. This is Mr. Steve Davis. He is the codes administrator for the city of Henderson now. Mr. Ray Nix has retired, so Steve will be taking his place.
Oh.
Yes. Congratulations, Mr. Davis.
Thank you.
I'll need your name,
Steve Davis,
address,
2354 Wilson Station Road, Henderson, Kentucky.
and I will ask you to promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Very good. Thank you. Please proceed.
We found a problem, I guess a small problem, in that there is several portions of, not several, but there are manufactured housing areas that have recreational vehicles being used as permanent dwellings in the city. It is problematic because they're not designed for permanent residence. So we have made some amendments, and I guess that's why I'm here today, to tell you about them. So I guess the first area is in, let's see, the definitions, Appendix A zoning. Under recreational vehicles, number 7, recreational vehicles shall not have connections to residential sewer systems or any permanent connections to other residential utilities. Number 8, recreational vehicles shall not be used as a residence and shall not be occupied for temporary use, except as may be provided in recreational vehicle communities or campgrounds. Number 9, recreational vehicles shall not be used as an accessory structure to a residence, nor to accommodate a residential accessory use. And then residential vehicle community means a parcel of land available to the public in which 2 or more recreational vehicle spaces are occupied or intended for occupancy by recreational vehicles for transient dwelling purposes, and includes any service building, structure, enclosure, or other facility used as a part of the community as regulated by Article 4, General Provisions, Section 4.40 of this code. Recreational vehicle space means a parcel of land in a recreational vehicle community for the placement of a single recreational vehicle. And then we also amended the text, Article 16, Manufactured Home District.
Excuse me, sir.
Okay.
Should we deal with these 2 amendments separately as they are listed on the agenda?
You can do them together or separately. The reason to do them separately is if you have an objection to one, you could separate it out from the other one. I didn't say that very articulately, but it's probably better to separate. You do not have to.
So we're going to do them one at a time. What Mr. Davis has presented, these are additions to the ordinance, right? We're not changing anything in the ordinance, we're just inserting a more complete definition.
Yes, I understand, yes.
Commission have any questions for Mr. Davis?
How long are these recreational vehicles being used in the areas that you're targeting?
How long are they being used?
How long has it been going on?
Long enough to build decks and permanent structures. I mean, This is prior to my hire
Yeah.
with the city, so I'm not exactly sure the entire length, but I know that they are being misused, if you will, but as a permanent loan,
And apparently have been for some time.
my understanding.
Can you estimate how many of them there are?
I'd say probably over half a dozen, couple different parts that I've seen.
And would these be grandfathered?
That's probably something we would want to leave to Dawn, since she would be the attorney for City Boza and for the Codes
Okay.
Department. I don't feel comfortable with us answering that question.
Well, that was where I was getting to. I mean, 'cause some of these recreational vehicles, you know, have been used for years in the city of Henderson, you know. Like when we change zoning regs, I mean, if something has been there and been established for several years and hadn't been a problem, and we grandfather those in and don't allow any new ones.
But let's speak in hypotheticals in this scenario, if we will. So hypothetically, if they are grandfathered in, as Vicki explained, that's one thing. Going forward, any new issues that Steve would deal with would be addressed by this ordinance. So I think we should probably think of it as two separate animals. One, you would have the grandfathered units, and then you have the new units going forward. That's probably the best way to think about it. I don't think it's a good idea for us to get wrapped up in the grandfathering, because that's not what we really discuss from a plan commission standpoint.
One question I got, take a person to come in and park a trailer, mobile home, buy a trailer, and hook up to that trailer. How long can they be hooked up to that trailer before we get bid?
I want to make sure we're using the right definitions on this. So you have camper, and you have mobile home, and then you have manufactured home. So camper, these are all legal terms. Specifically with the manufactured and mobile homes, there's a code-specific language we need to use there. If I remember the date, it's 1972. Was it 76? Okay. That those separate. So I think in Gary's case, if someone were to bring a camper next to an existing manufactured or mobile home is what you're asking. Is that right, Gary?
Well, we got camper, and also we got mobile homes that come in and get the park area, and run sensing cord and, water hose. I mean, have they got a set time they can, visit without having to move out before they violate the rules?
Do you want to grab it? Okay. Well, I think what you're asking is there a time limit that these can be used, and it's 6 months. At 6 months, they would need to physically move the unit, and then they're allowed to come back at that point. But they have to physically move after a 6-month window. If I remember, Steve, that's the language.
In the
I
upcoming,
think what's in here, which is that second section, I think it says 30 days.
Sorry, okay, sorry.
And,
And that definition comes from short-term rentals, so you know our Airbnb, things like that.
yeah,
The definition of a short-term rental, longer than 30 days then becomes a permanent residence. And so that is where I believe, and we had that discussion, that we, landed on that 30-day. Because at that point, they could potentially make the argument of it being a permanent residence, adding those structures, things of that nature that we are trying to, mitigate with this update here.
I mean, I understand the fact that, you know, people that build the decks and things like that, yeah, they're probably extended. But I'm thinking, you've got a lot of times, you got people, construction people are coming in, especially we have a Pratt coming in.
Correct.
And all these others that are here for, you know, sometimes 6 months, sometimes maybe a year. And there's a lot of guys, that's how they,
Oh,
So if I can jump in there real quick, if I understand it right, the article we're looking at is only a definition, correct?
this section,
So
yes.
any discussion about usage should be for the next
That's probably
article,
why.
correct? Yes.
and I think I understood your advice that we should be looking at this in terms of future activities.
Correct. And I don't think it's wise for us to get into the grandfathering issue because we would not enforce or interpret that.
As a finding.
Correct.
Needs to be discussed, I think, for just the openness of it.
I think you can discuss it, but as a matter of reality, but it's not anything this body would enforce, is kind of what I wanted to make sure we understand. We will not determine what's grandfather and what's not.
Want an answer, we'll have to. We don't do that. It's not our choice.
But if we recommend these changes to the city, they adopt them, then we're a part of that decision-making issue.
Of which grandfathering?
No, of these issues
No,
that
we-
would be possibly, they're not talking about grandfathering, they're talking about eliminating them.
I guess I'm not following your point, I'm sorry.
Well, if they establish these zoning regs,
Okay.
and there's not any discussion about grandfathering established recreational vehicles,
Okay.
then they can just eliminate it. So you're gonna have to move them.
Well, I disagree there, because the grandfathering issue would be covered under the city BOZA. So if someone feels like they were being unjustly picked on, or that they were grandfathered in, they have the avenue of the city BOZA to fight that battle, not the planning commission.
Probably statutory, but I don't want to give an opinion about something that I don't represent.
I understand.
Are we being asked to make a recommendation to the city commission in this regard, or to actually change the ordinance or by our action?
We are being asked to make a recommendation on the text provided. So in this case, Commissioner Richard is right, specifically the very first item on the agenda, which is number A.
Definition of a recreational.
Correct.
Mhm. But we will not be finalizing that definition, we'll be recommending that the city commission do so or not.
Correct, and they would have the final say on the addition to the zoning ordinance.
Thank you. Any other questions from the commission on this issue? Mr. Davis, do you have anything else you'd like to share?
No.
Anyone else in attendance who might want to speak to this? Or against? I'll entertain a motion in regard to this proposed amendment to Article 2, Section 2.01.
Chairman, I offer a motion to recommend to the City Commission to approval of city zoning text amendments, Article 2, Section 2.01, definitions, recreational vehicles community, and recreational vehicle space.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Madam Secretary, could you call the roll, please?
Kevin Richard,
Yes.
Bobby Jarrett,
Yes.
Mac Arnold,
Yes.
XR Royster,
Yes.
Dickie Johnson,
Yeah.
Gary Gibson,
Yes.
Stacy Denton,
Yes.
Frank Boyette.
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you. Now, Mr. Davis, can you help us with the next item, proposed amendment to Article 16?
Sure. So we have amended the conditional uses of Article 16 Manufactured Home District with D, recreational vehicle communities as defined in Article 2, definition, Section 2.01, definitions, with the following limitations. 1, it shall be unlawful within the city limits of Henderson for any person to construct a recreational community without securing a permit from the Kentucky Cabinet for Health and Family Services by application through the Cabinet or its designated agency. All recreational vehicle communities shall have all lots numbered and posted in a manner easily identifiable by emergency personnel. 2, no recreational vehicle community shall be operated within the city limits of Henderson except as provided in KRS 219.310 to 219.410 and 902 KAR 15:020, and in accordance with the provisions of all zoning regulations. Number 3, review of plans for recreational vehicle communities shall be conducted by the cabinet or its designated agency and by appropriate planning and zoning staff and committees. Number 4, all plans for a recreational vehicle community shall receive final approval from the Planning Commission and shall be subject to all Planning Commission regulations, including but not limited to bonding requirements. Number 5, all recreational vehicle communities shall have permanent paved roads meeting the applicable width and design requirements of the Henderson City County subdivision regulations. Number 6, there shall be no permanent structures placed on a recreational vehicle space. Number 7, recreational vehicle communities shall not be contained within manufactured housing parks unless constructed as a separate approved and permitted section. Number 8, recreational vehicles shall not remain in the same recreational vehicle space for longer than 30 days. Number 9, all recreational vehicle communities allowing placement of any recreational vehicle not equipped with water flush, toilet, lavatory, shower, and bath system shall provide permanent on-site restroom, lavatory, and shower facility.
Thank you. What zone does this proposed conditional use apply to?
Manufactured home district, RMH.
That is the only zone?
That's correct.
Do we have any of these recreational vehicle communities in our county right now?
Well, city. Yeah, and
No,
not
excuse me, in the
officially
city.
that I know of. There are some that are operating, we are dealing with other issues. The one specifically that's in operation now, we are dealing with floodplain issues, not zoning issues. So yes, there is one in operation that has other, issues identified and being addressed.
Talk about Audubon, Audubon Park.
Auburn State Park is currently not in operation, but that would be.
It will be this, within, June, it should be in operation.
My understanding of that is that it's a separate entity and that it's not privately owned. It is a public purpose, a function of the state park itself. So it would not be subject to these regulations.
I mean, it's not in this zone, is it?
Correct. It's an ag zone, and that is a part of the park's function currently.
Any other questions for Mr. Davis from the commission?
In this, if I read it right, are you saying like in where we have mobile home parks now, that recreational vehicles can't be located in those?
Oh, we're saying they can be located in those if there's a designated space.
Just has to be separated?
Yes, because of the nature of the recreational vehicle, it's made to be moved. It's transient. Mobile home, if you will, is strapped down with a permanent foundation. Recreational vehicles are not as permanent by design. There's no way to strap it down, typically.
Right.
So it's not as safe a structure as, say, a manufactured house.
Well, no, I understand that. I'm just saying, if you have a mobile home or park, and there is an empty lot right here, and, another one down here, that you have someone that comes in, that's, the only place they have to go, but you're saying that they would not be able to go, they would have to have a certain area that would be specifically designed for them. And that's probably gonna lock a lot of them out, because I don't think these mobile home parks would, that's want to set up a side area that would just be for part of that.
We're just trying to accommodate for that in that zone. Trying to accommodate people who like work construction.
Yeah.
If a mobile home park would like to allow someone like that to come in, they can designate a spot within their.
But the way I read this, they have to have approved permitting. So, if you got a manufactured home park, and they're gonna have, say, one spot for a recreational vehicle, you think they're gonna get a permit or
They have to have
conditional
more
use?
than one spot. It's more than one definitions. So it's gonna be a section.
Understand, they'd have to put a whole section in just for recreational vehicles.
if they choose to. It's not a requirement.
No, I understand. I mean, but then they have to go through the permitting and proper,
Which we have to do for any home.
yeah.
Have we got it in place here in Henderson County that got that going now, where they could go to and park their motor home?
The only area I know is out there, kind of behind, or Racetrack Road, that area over there, there's several mobile home, or travel trailers in there.
manufactured home farms.
Right,
They're not,
right.
they
But
won't be.
But what they're saying, they're not gonna be able to stay in those spots unless they have designated a spot, you know, X over here, that's the only place they can go, so.
And it's designed so that people, we really want, if there's gonna be, one of the issues, the real issues here is safety. Someone's in an RV, recreational vehicle, camper, someone's in a camper, there's not an address sign on it, there's not a way to designate where this is located, so when our fire trucks come in, they don't know where it is. There's no clear designation, there's no clear pathway or roads a lot of times. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to take what's going on and make it just a little bit safer for everybody involved. Sewer, electric, all those need to be provided. In a mobile home park, they're not provided. Unless they're gonna be permanently, tapped into the mobile home sewage. So there's a lot of things that we're trying to kind of, zip up and make it a little safer for everybody.
I can understand it and I appreciate it,
Sure.
but I also understand there's a lot of people out here. I mean, I'm not gonna say hundreds or nothing like that, but there's several people out here that's got recreational vehicles that's been there for several years.
Well,
And those are the ones that I'm concerned about, if you say, well, you're gonna have to move, we got new zoning regs.
So, Vicki, if you remember, grandfather clause is actually in a different chapter of the zoning regulation, or zoning ordinance. So it would be covered and that would be, again, back to what Brian said, that is not our decision, that would be the Board of Zoning. But we wouldn't want to put that specific language in here because that is covered for the entire ordinance in a different section. For any zone, anything that would be grandfathered at that point. And I don't think what Steve is presenting here is that we're gonna go out and start writing violations for every little thing. We're basically just trying to bring things back either into compliance or make it so that there's, like you said, a safer environment where they're able to get the utilities they need at the way that they're supposed to be getting them, if that makes sense. But I don't think at any point he means that we're gonna go out and immediately start violating people who have been living like this. Our goal is just to create a safer, more sanitary place for recreational vehicles to be, and then want to invite more people to come in that do this camping stuff, with Audubon Park and things.
Yes, going forward.
Yes.
What we're trying to do is we're trying to provide a place for that to happen. Other than on the park. We want there to be a place where people can have a, good experience.
And as I want to say, when you come into, a lot of people, come in with, construction reasons. And they're here, and like I say, I'm concerned about the 30 days because they're here sometimes, 6 months, almost sometimes a year, that they could be on a job site, before they have to move on to the next site. And, that's really the kind of only way they can.
Mac, I agree completely. I remember that specifically happened with the HW sewer separation project. A lot of those guys did that. But at some point, that's gonna be market driven. If the public or the property owners feel that there's a need for it, they will do this. But we also wanna combat the fact that people are able to pull in campers that have no secure foundations, that are subject to high winds. Their sanitary sewer needs are not being met. They have no appropriate outlets when it comes to electricity. There's multiple things going on. We're all for people doing that. It just needs to be done in a safe, organized manner. What I think Steve's trying to get at.
I'm not against doing it safe and organized, but, I'm trying to, by reading this, and then I'm sure if I'm finding this maybe get a little more defined than it, maybe should be. Like
Yeah,
30 days, I'm concerned about that as far as you're getting people.
Well, I believe we need a park like that in Henderson County, but we don't have none.
Yeah.
And, people could come in and visit for a month. They could park there and then use their pickup to travel around and, come back there.
Can I jump in on that? So earlier I said 6 months, and I apologize for that because I confused that with the flood ordinance that we have. So recreational vehicles in the floodplain have to be moved every 6 months. This is, they have to be moved every 30 days. They can move and come back, but they physically have to move. So that way we prevent people from building porches, doing things that they're not supposed to do. They can move day 29, come back, and then start the clock all over again. Nothing's preventing them from doing that. This is meant to secure viable and protective infrastructure for those communities when they are built.
How long do they have to be moved?
They can do it within a matter of a few hours. So like, for
So they
example.
could just drive around the block and come back?
Yep. It prevents them from building structures attached to those campuses.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments from the commission? Davis, anything to add? Anybody else here with us this evening who would like to comment or question anything? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion concerning city zoning text amendment to Article 16.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to offer a motion to recommend approval to the City Commission of City Zoning Text Amendment Article 16, Manufactured Home District RMH, Section 16.03, Additional Uses, Section D, Recreational Vehicle Communities.
Second?
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Frank Boyer,
Yes.
Stacy Denton,
Yes.
Gary Gibson,
Yes.
Dickie Johnson.
Yes.
XR Royster,
Yes.
Mac Arnold,
No.
Bobby Jarrett,
Yes.
Kevin Richards,
Yes.
Very good, the motion passes. Mr. Davis, I think we're done with you for this evening. We'll see you again soon, I'm sure. Thank you for your help, appreciate it. That concludes the public hearing items on our agenda tonight. I'll entertain a motion to go out of public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We're out of public hearing. Under non-public hearing items, we'll start off with the finance report. Ms. Curtis?
Yes. March finance report, we're 74% of budget, and we have, got any questions? We just need a.
Any questions concerning the finance report? I'll entertain a motion for approval.
I make a motion to approve the March finance report that read.
Second?
A motion and a second, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Finance report is approved. I understand we have no bond report this evening, is that correct?
That's correct.
Next item on the agenda is Creekside Condominium Site Plan. Mr. Bishop, can you help us with that?
I will, sir. Jennifer is getting that drawing ready for us, so if you would bear with us 1 second. There we go. Okay. Stacy, can you see the screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so the applicant, I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself, excuse me. Creekside Condominium Site Plan submitted by Joe Magley, doing business as Black Pearl Properties LLC for the property located in the city of Henderson, Old Massiville Road, parcel ID number 56-27. Applicant is requesting site plan approval for 12 condos. The applicant, as I said, is requesting approval for 12 individual condos. Each condo will still be subject to a site plan, subject to approval from city code. So for example, when condo 1 comes in for a building permit, They still have to go to Steve's office, get a building permit, make sure that they meet all the applicable building codes, setbacks, everything in that nature. There will be approximately 286 feet of new sewer line constructed, which I believe the HWU guys are here. We can answer more questions about that if you have any. We have received all approvals from the necessary technical advisors. And if it helps, all the driveways that you see on the site plan will be privately owned. This will not be a city street. This will be a shared driveway for the folks who live in this community. In a sense, it's a small community that they all would live in and share the maintenance of.
So Brian, does that mean the connector street's private as well?
That is correct. And I believe Mr. Manley is here, if you have any questions for the applicant.
I see a letter here from, State Transportation Academy Engineer concerning, an encroachment permit. What's that about?
Correct. The encroachment from, Jennifer, which am I showing on the screen? The road that the driveway will exit onto is a state road. As Highway 285, the encroachment permit is giving them permission to have that entrance onto the public road.
It's Old Madisonville Road is what we would call it.
That is correct. It is near the Pleasant View subdivision.
Not too far south of Sand Lane, right?
Heather, I'm sorry, did I say? Country View, excuse me, sorry. I got my views wrong.
I think we dealt with this site in a rezoning.
Correct. We had a rezoning for this, was it last month or the month before? In June. So this has been previously seen by the Planning Commission. This is going to give us more technical details, which is why you have the drawings from the Water Department in your packet as well. So this is a more technical review of what we looked at before with the rezone.
Any questions for staff from the commission on this project? Would staff like to hear from the applicant? Would the commission like to hear from the applicant? Would the applicant like to address the commission? No questions? No further comments? I'll entertain a motion in regard to the Creekside Condominium site plan as presented.
I'll make that motion.
What would be the motion, please?
Approved, Creekside Condominium Site Plan, presented by Joe Mattingly, DBA Black Pearl Properties LLC, for the property located in the city of Henderson on Old Madisonville Road, PID number 56-27.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Kevin Richard,
Yes.
Bobby Jarrett,
Yes.
Mac Arnold,
Yes.
XR Royster,
Yes.
Dickie Johnson,
Yes.
Gary Gibson,
Yes.
Stacy Denton,
Yes.
Spring Foyette.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion passes. Next item on the agenda is the Pratt Paper Henderson, Kentucky site plan. Who's going to present on this?
Mr. Tom Williams is going to do that for us.
Mr. Williams, I need your name.
Tom Williams, my address is 111 Fifth Street, Henderson, Kentucky.
You promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Thank you, sir.
I'm here representing the city, owner of the property, and with me is Mr. Ed Kersey, who is the GM for the mill project that Pratt is building. This is not the first time you've seen this piece of property, and it's probably not going to be the last either. This is approval for the site plan, which is frankly still a work in progress. There's a lot of design work still going on. We'll be back to you at some point with plat and dedicated easements for streets and utilities as we're moving through this process. Interestingly, a year ago today, exactly today, is the day that we first had a phone call with people from Pratt, a virtual site visit, when we told them all great things about the community, and they took the hook. So we're glad to have them here.
Yeah.
it's a big development. If you've been out on 425 and seen what's going on out there, there's a lot of activity.
I can say that I drove by that site, and you really starting to get a sense of the scale of things, and I've never seen so many bulldozers in one place.
Well, and the thing about that is, as we move through the summer, really only about half the construction has started. The middle construction has started, and a lot of earthwork. But the box plant, which is going to be in operation by the end of this calendar year, has not even started construction, so.
It'd be fair to explain the difference on the drawing, on what you're referring to there?
Yes, you can see 425 there at the bottom, two roads coming off of 425. The one to the right will have truck scale, the way trucks going in and out. One to the left, which will be a city street, then attaches to a ring road that goes partially around the site. It goes to the west, up just around the curve, and then to the east, it goes along the railroad tracks to the northwest or northeast corner of the site. Just in the middle of the site there, that large building is the mill, where kind of long, right there. That's the paper mill. Next to that, to the left, is a roll room where rolls of paper that are made in the milling process are stored, and then up to the upper left is the box plant, which is where the corrugated boxes will be made.
What's just to the right of that? Is that parking?
There's parking for a lot of trucks.
Okay.
Pratt will have about 200 truckloads of materials coming in and going out every day. They also have rail access on the site, which is one of the selling points for Henderson. So we're located on the CSX mainline track here. So, Ed, do you have anything you want to add? Ed will answer any questions you have specifically about
Board like me to approach, I could just.
Would we like to hear from Mr. Kersey? Any questions for him? Well, thank you for being here.
questions from me.
Any other questions from the commission?
Done a good job.
It's
Always do.
It's not over yet. We're working on, just the water utility, we're working on 6 separate projects that are involved with this. The utilities that we're going to have to build for this are massive, but it's still worth it.
Yeah.
The gas department is doing the same thing. They're making a huge investment to bring gas from the Braco building all the way to this site. State Highway Department is going to be building turn lanes on 425 at that location for safe access in and out of the site. There's a lot going on. Big Rivers is building a substation on the site, which last month you guys approved a subdivision that cut out that line from the substation.
Yeah.
We're also building a line from their other substation into this site. So there's a massive amount of public and private investment in this. I believe when Mr. Pratt was here for the groundbreaking, he quoted a figure of $500 million. It's just their investment. Huge amount.
Well, Mr. Kersey, I hope you're enjoying you have enjoyed your time in Henderson. We're happy to have you.
Thank you.
Any other questions regarding this project? I'll entertain a motion in regard to the Pratt Paper Henderson, Kentucky site plan as presented.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve the Pratt Paper Henderson, Kentucky site plan submitted by Pratt Paper Kentucky LLC for the property located in the city of Henderson on Highway 425, PID number 46-19. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Frank Boyette,
Yes.
Stacy Denton,
Yes.
Gary Gibson,
Yes.
Dickie Johnson,
Yes.
XR Royster,
Yes.
Mac Arnold,
Yes.
Bobby Jarrett,
Yes.
Kevin Richards.
Yes.
Very good, thank you. Administrative business, I'm not aware of any.
No, sir.
I'm not aware of any other business unless members of the commission would like have another topic they want to bring forward for the good of the cause? Anyone else here with us this evening that would like to bring something forward? Well, in that case, I guess I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Well, I will say, before I make that motion, it's been nice getting face to face tonight.
Indeed it is.
With that said, I make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor? Any opposed? Very good. We stand adjourned. Thank you all. It was real nice of us.